So even after back-to-back RE Village videos, new info has gotten released via Japanese interviews. We are 30 plus days away from the release of Shadows of Rose, and some of the stuff I'm about to tell you is quite shocking. From a scrap DLC to an identity revealed, we're going to be going over these interviews and I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the parts that mean the most. So before we get into it, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Resident Evil news and content. And now, let's get right into it. This is coming from Dusk Golem. Now, he didn't leak it, but someone ended up translating these interviews and Dusk decided to share them, which there is nothing wrong with that. Potential spoilers could be revealed, and now let's get into it. They wanted RE8's third person mode to be of the same caliber as RE2 Remake and RE3 Remake. Many users may ask why it wasn't there from the beginning, but the work needed to add it was almost as much as a new game. RE8 has things like guarding, crouching while guarding, shooting while crouching, etc. They had to make new animations for everything that looked neatly connected, plus various other reworks to make it work in third person. The masked Duke that we saw in the trailer is not the same character as the Duke in the real world. Might be a weird translation, but his name may be Marquise. He was created from the mold world. In the new Mercenaries additional orders is spawned in enemies will come to you, so you don't have to seek them all out individually, which I am very happy about because that was one of the reasons why I did not like RE8 Mercenaries, and I found it to be one of the most boring, if not the most boring Mercenaries mode. But anyways, second interview time. They worked really hard to make sure you couldn't see Ethan's face even in the third person, part of his character and role as an alter ego to be true to him. Say Shadows of Rose will be like a nightmarish fever dream, a different style of horror in the franchise. They spent a lot of time to make Shadows of Rose scary and tense, with a focus on difficult survival and bizarre imagery and foes. RE8 originally was going to have a Chris DLC, but they decided to instead put all the time and budget to make Shadows of Rose meatier. The scrap Chris DLC was going to be about a Chris who's losing it, going slightly mad from pressures and guilt. But ultimately, the psychedelic Shadows of Rose became too compelling. They wanted to put all their effort into it. It's actually pretty shocking that Chris was going to get a DLC, but hearing about the sobbing, or should I say him losing it, being mad from pressures and guilt, it sounds exactly like RE6 Chris, so I mean, I guess you could say that I'm glad they would switch to Shadows of Rose, and I was really looking forward to a Chris DLC, but if it was going to be focused on that, then we might as well turn back the clock to RE6. The confirmed enemies at the start of Shadows of Rose are Face Eaters and Sclerotium. Yeah, try not to butcher that, for me at least, in Castle Dimitrescu. The first are the zombie-like enemies but try to absorb your face. The second is a flower/fungus thing that spews liquid around. Not only does it slow you down, but stay too long and it will absorb you into the liquid, kinda like quicksand. There's also a third stalker enemy in Castle Dimitrescu and Shadows of Rose, but keeping the details of it under embargo, and apparently more enemies past the castle as well. Here's one of the more mysterious parts of this DLC. Michael writes messages throughout the DLC, and is helping guide her to something deep within the world of the Megamycete that may end her powers, but also helps her learn how to control her powers in the DLC. They wanted to explore Rose and Village's DLC, both due to the tie-in of us seeing Ethan's journey in RE7 and 8 to give his family a shot at life, so ending it with a story of Rose years later was appealing to the team. The main ideas for the DLC was either Rose or Chris. There were a couple others, but those two were what really stuck out to the team. Ultimately, they decided to focus on Rose, make it meaty, and make a worthy conclusion to the Winters family story. They made Rose's movement speed a bit slower than normal in RE8's DLC to fit the character and atmosphere of the DLC. The DLC is designed around the idea of the contrast of Rose as a person. She's a normal teenage girl, she's in a scary situation she's never been in before, but she also has powers no one else has, and you'll feel the contrast of her inexperience and yet extreme potential in how she plays here. Rose gains more powers than we've seen as the DLC progresses, but she plays more for defense than offense, so the idea of killing everything is a tremendously tall order. Survival is more important than murder, which I really like. One thing that I really do like is that Castle Dimitrescu's layout will be the same as from RE8, but you're in for a surprise, because everything's wrong and not where it's supposed to be. Rose's powers play into puzzles in the DLC, so good to know that there are puzzles in this DLC, not just combat scenarios. Now this is quite a shocking reveal here. Confirmed after RE8, Rose not only lost her father, but she was taken out of Mia's custody and was raised by Chris and members of Chris's Hound Wolf squad. She grew up not really knowing either her parents too well. Which, I mean, wow. They just read Mia off just like that. I personally think that there are a lot of plot holes to be filled with Mia's character, but to just write her off like that, and I don't know, it just doesn't really make sense. So that's the end of the video. I'm terribly sick right now, and I'm probably going to be leaving my final thoughts in the comment section down below. So for you guys, you can feel free to do that as well. I'm probably going to be taking like 4 days off maybe to just get rid of the sickness. Hopefully I will be able to recover a lot more faster than I expect, but yeah, that will be the end of today's video. I will be leaving the articles in the pinned comment and also the Dustgum's tweet in the pinned comment, so you guys can check up on that and to know that it is real. If you guys ended up enjoying, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're very close to 2,000 subscribers right now. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have yourselves a good day, a good night, and a good sleep, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.